Welcome to Swayam MOOC course NGOs and Sustainable Development, Unit 2, Module 14, Participation of NGOs in Environment Management. Learning objectives. By the end of this module, you will be able to understand about the importance of NGOs participation for environmental protection. Learn about the environmental NGOs at the international and national level and their role towards environmental protection. Now let us understand the environment. Environment means surrounding that affects us, the planet and everything. It includes the whole atmosphere, the ozone layers, etc. As years and decades pass, the resources are being used and they are getting depleted. Making of paper results in destroying the forests. In addition, use of one resource many a times causes damage to the surrounding, like the use of coal damages the air surrounding it. Environmental factors are all interlinked and interdependent. Depletion and damage are the two powerful words associated with the present day environment. As every living creature on this planet depends on the nature for sustenance, environmental protection has become very important than ever before. It is not simply about food, clothes and shelter anymore. It is much beyond that. We are depleting the natural resources very fast, more than the nature can replenish it. One of the most difficult challenges that we are facing is environmental degradation resulting from deforestation, pollution and climate change. Deteriorating environmental conditions have resulted in many other problems such as scarcity of resources, poor sanitation and hygiene, as well as calamities such as flood and drought. We humans are causing excessive damage to the environment, many of which are irreversible. The following data, statistics, stands testimony to that. We are losing 7.3 million hectares of forest every year. Around 5.2 trillion plastic particles are floating in the oceans around the world. Nearly 7 million people die because of poor air quality every year. The statistics are alarming. About 21.5 million people have been forced to relocate because of the ill effects of climate change in the past 12 years. Nearly 90% of solid waste in West Asia is disposed of as landfills, resulting in severe land pollution, and further it contaminates the groundwater. This in turn leads to ill health and sanitation problems. Mother Earth is a giver, no doubt, but are we reciprocating? The answer lies in analyzing our situation and taking steps to rectify it. Fortunately, the number of people who understand the need for environmental protection is now strikingly very high. It is the responsibility of the present generation to protect the environment so that our future generation gets a better place, a better planet to live on. According to an independent survey carried out during 2021, over 70% of the people are well aware of the ill effects of environmental degradation and climate change. It's a big number, 70% of the population. Further, 40% are ready to adopt sustainable practices to bring the change because they understand the seriousness of the matter. Thankfully, there are many NGOs that are working in the field of environmental protection to make our tomorrow a better place. Now let us see some environmental management areas that NGOs can focus on. Assisting municipal corporation in collection of waste from individual households and depositing them in secondary collection points. When we collect the waste, it is very essential to earmark the waste, to categorize the waste so that they can be easily recycled or disposed. Next is management and relocation of waste. Third, zero waste management which can include recycling. Fourth, handling and disposal of biomedical waste, which requires a separate procedure. Providing sanitation and human settlements, stopping pollution, be it water, air or noise. Then we can have alternate energy sources we can use instead of the traditional conventional fossil fuels, providing drinking water, maintaining the eco balance through conservation of forests, afforestation measures, and dissemination of environmental related data to the general public to make them understand the seriousness of the ecosystem's degradation. Now, there are several NGOs and voluntary agencies which are working on environmental related issues internationally. Now, let us see a few of them. One is International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, abbreviated as IUCN. Their type is world's first global environmental organization, and it was founded in 1948. The focus of their work deals with nature conservation, biodiversity and nature based solutions. The type of activities they involve in is to promote mutually beneficial conservation arrangements. They promote development as well as assist people and nations to better conserve the plant. They aim to mobilize communities for working towards biodiversity conservation, sustainable development and poverty reduction. The effort is mainly to halt the biodiversity loss. The next is very famous, known as the WWF. It is the Worldwide Fund for Nature, and it is an international non-government organization, and it is founded in 1961. Their areas of work includes environmentalism, conservation and ecology, and they work on issues regarding the conservation. They do research and they work towards restoration of the environment. Mission is to halt and reverse the destruction of the environment, and their work focuses on the conservation of forests, freshwater ecosystems, oceans and coasts. It is also concerned with endangered species, pollution and climate change. The mission is to stop the degradation of the planet, natural environment, and to build a future in which the human or the mankind can live in harmony with the nature, also to take care of the life under the sea. The third type is Environmental Defence Fund, which is again a non-profit environmental advocacy group which was founded in 1967. The focus is on environmentalism. They work on issues including global warming, ecosystem restoration, ocean and human health. They advocate using sound science, economics and law, so that they are able to protect the environment and they are able to give solution for the environmental problems. They aim to reduce the pollution and they try to curtail global warming through their measures and mechanisms. They work to protect the marine ecosystem by creating sustainable fisheries. The focus is on cutting down the air pollution caused from utilities, the thermal power plants and also from transportation, the vehicles that we use. They work to promote the ecosystem friendly policy. They help landowners and the community to work towards a healthier water and wildlife preservation. The organization promotes the use of markets and incentives that help to solve environmental problems. The fourth international organization is the Natural Conservancy, which is a US charitable environmental organization which was founded in 1951. Their focus area is conservation by design, land conservation techniques. They work towards preserving the land and water in which all life depends. They pioneered new land preservation techniques such as conservation easement, debt for nature swamps. Recognizing the threat habitat fragmentation brings to plant and animals, they took up as a major issue to resolve those problems. They took a campaign as plant a billion trees. It was an effort to restore 2,500,000 acres of land and plant around 1 billion trees in the Atlantic forest of Brazil. They aimed on all these initiatives with the focus so that the climate change, the global warming can be reduced, and it will be able to stabilize the global climate. Greenpeace is another famous international organization. It is a non-governmental environmental organization which was founded in 1969. Their focus area was work towards global warming, deforestation, overfishing, genetic engineering and anti-nuclear issues. The goal was to ensure ability of the earth to nurture life in all its diversity, defending our oceans by challenging wasteful and destructive fishing, creating a global network for marine reserves. They worked for disarmament and peace by reducing the dependence on finite resources such as the fossil fuels, and they called for removing or eliminating the use of nuclear energy and nuclear weapons. Creating a toxin free future was their agenda, with safer alternatives to as compared to hazardous chemicals which are being used in today's manufacturing sector and also in the development of products. They campaigned for a sustainable agriculture by encouraging socially and economically responsible farming practices. The sixth organization is the Earthwatch Institute, which is again an international non-profit organization. It was founded in 1971. The area of their research included environmental research, including wildlife conservation, rainforest ecology, marine science and archaeology. The institute tried to find ways to help communities migrate the impact of climate change and to adapt to those changes. It safeguarded the combined genetic, ecological, cultural and linguistic variation that they discovered in the native biological and cultural communities. Their purpose was to enhance and protect the biodiversity in global ecosystems that provide valuable goods and services such as clean drinking water, food, wood, timber, medicines. Also their objective was to protect the marine diversity, which to take care of the endangered species, to take care of the coastal habitats and the coral reefs. The seventh organization is the Fauna and Flora International. As the name suggests, it is related to taking care of the plants. It is an international conservation charity and a non-governmental organization which was founded in 1951. The focus area was to safeguard the future of South African mammals. They played a key role in establishing many of today's global conservation infrastructure such as the IUCN, WWF and CITES. It has a 7-step approach to conserving biodiversity. One is building a local capacity for conservation, integrating biodiversity and human needs, direct the protection of species and habitats, securing land for conservation. 5 is emergency response to any conservation requirements, needs, and 6 is influencing the policy and the practice of conservation. 7 is bridging the gap between business and biodiversity. So, it was almost like a parent organization which ensured that they need to take care of the biodiversity, taking care of both the plant, the habitat and the animal habitat. The 8th institute is the World Resource Institute, which is abbreviated as the WRI. It is an independent, non-partisan, non-profit organization founded in 1982. Their focus area of research included environment and social economic development. Their role was to build a transformative solution that protects the earth and improves people's quality of life. They wanted to protect the global climate system from further harm due to emission from greenhouse gases and to help humanity and the natural world to adapt to the unavoidable climate change. They empowered people and they wanted to strengthen the institution to foster environmentally sound and a socially equitable decision making process. Their aim was to reverse the rapid degradation of the ecosystem that is happening and to assure that the capacity to provide human whatever they require, the goods and services are given in a sustainable manner. The ninth is the Earth Institute, abbreviated as EI, which is a NPO, which is a non-profit organization which was founded in 1995. The area of research included interdisciplinary research projects. Their mission was to address the complex issues facing the planet and its inhabitants, with particular focus on sustainable development and the need to address the poor people in the world. The activities are guided by the idea that science and technological tools are present which can be applied to greatly improve the conditions of the poor people while preserving the natural habitat that supports life in the earth. It supports pioneering projects in the biological, engineering, social and health science discipline, while actively encouraging interdisciplinary projects often combining the natural and social sciences in the pursuit of solution to the real world problems. The 10th one is the Forest Stewardship Council or the FSC. It is an international not for profit multi stakeholder organization founded in 1993 and the area is for sustainable forestry. The main role is to achieve responsible management of the forests by setting standards, by bringing in certification and labeling the forest products. Mission was to promote environmentally appropriate, socially beneficial and economically viable management of the world forest. It works towards, there are 6 programs it has taken and it works towards achieving those 6 programs, namely forest, chain of custody, social policy, monitoring and evaluation, quality assurance and ecosystem services, all related to forest management. There are a few other NGOs, which is environmental organizations, namely the Earth Island Institute, which is founded by David R. Brower, acts as an environmental handle or an umbrella organization providing people and group the capability to develop new initiatives. The second is the Earth Justice. Environmental interest organization is headquartered in San Francisco and is developed dedicated to litigating environmental issues. The Natural Friends International is a global environmental umbrella organization. The Global Footprint Network is an international think tank that provides ecological footprint accounting tool to drive policy decisions in a resource constrained world. The fifth is the Natural Resources Defense Council. It is an international environmental advocacy group with a staff of hundreds of lawyers, scientists and policy experts. Wetland International is a global not for profit organization dedicated to the conservation and restoration of wetlands. World Agroforestry Center, it generates knowledge about the benefits of agroforestry to develop policies and practices for improved livelihoods and environmental benefits. We have seen all these international organizations which are international NGOs or not for profit organizations which are all focused in taking care of the environment, in identifying any legal issues present, in trying to come out with sustainable development projects, programs and pushing it so that we are living in a better world and giving a better world for the future generation. Now, let us see the role of NGOs in protecting the environment. One is to create awareness among the public on the current environmental issues. The second role of NGO is to facilitate the participation of various categories of stakeholders in the decision on environmental issues. The third is to conduct participatory rural appraisal, which is the PRA. The fourth role of NGO for protecting the environmental concerns is get involved in the protection of human rights to have a clean environment. The fifth role is to protect the natural resources, that which we have been given by the planet. The sixth role is data generation on the natural resources, the availability of the natural resources, and the timeline, the history of the communities and the villages. The seventh role of the NGO is the analysis and monitoring of the environmental quality. The eighth role is transferring the information that we have already gathered in terms of analysis and monitoring or data collection of the natural habitat, disseminating this information in the form of newsletters, brochures to the people around. The ninth role is organizing seminars, so that we take this information on a large scale to a wide population through lectures, through group discussion. We create awareness of the environmental status, the degradation that is happening to the ecosystem. India has a number of NGOs that work in the field of environmental conservation and ecology. Some of them are the Assam Science Society, Bombay Natural History Society, Center for Environmental Education, Center for Science and Environment, the CPR, which is CP Ramasamy Iyer Foundation, which works on environmental education. The sixth is the Kerala Sastra Sahitya Parishad, 7 Kalp Parveshik, 8 is the Narmada Bacho Andalon, 9 World Wide Fund for Nature in India, and the 10th is the Foundation for Revitalization of Local Health Tradition, abbreviated as the FHLHT. All these are the Indian NGOs which are working for environmental protection. There are further few more NGOs, we will see them in detail. One is the Ashoka Trust for Research in Ecology and Environment, ATREE, ATREE. This is an environmental based think tank in India with global recognition. It generates interdisciplinary knowledge to inform the policy makers and the practitioners, the field workers, on the importance of conservation and sustainability. The organization has been working on social environmental issues starting from the local level to a global policy level, and it has been working for almost 2 decades on it. It envisions that a society has to be committed to environmental protection and conservation of the earth, and it stands for sustainable and a socially equitable system for the future generation. It works closely with policy makers, environment leaders, and also builds an army of next generation environment warriors or ambassadors, so that they are able to give a sustainable environment for the future generation. The second is the Chintan Environmental Research and Action Group. This is focused on promoting sustainable and equitable growth for every member of the society. Chintan works towards ensuring responsible and sustainable consumption for the environment. Chintan endeavors to lessen the surplus waste, promotes sustainable consumption, and facilitates better waste management. They also raise their voice against air pollution by creating awareness. The primary purpose of promoting sustainable consumption and waste management is to provide resources for every individual, the marginalized sector of the society. Chintan manages around 30 tons of solid and electronic waste each day in and around Delhi. They partner with garbage pickers and volunteers, so that they are able to free the environment from such hazardous waste and create a better future. Next is the Sankalp Taru Foundation. This NGO has used digital channels. They have used the latest technology to protect and conserve the environment. Sankalp Taru is a e-NGO which aims at promoting tree plantations across the country. The plantation drive is to run on a digital platform, allowing Sankalp Taru to use the innovative technology such as GPS tracking. Through this method, the GPS tracking method, volunteers can track the progress of the plantation drives. So far, millions of trees have been planted since Sankalp Taru started its work in 2013. The fourth Indian NGO working for environment is Mukti. In the midst of the Sundarbans of West Bengal, one of the largest mangrove forests in the world is present. Mukti works for the region's social and economic development and for environmental protection. Mukti has been operating in the Sundarbans for the almost 2 decades, working for poverty alleviation, education, livelihood, environment and others. The organization is working with around 40 communities affected by environment related disasters such as cyclones, land erosion, sea degradation. Mukti assists over 5,000 rural needy women in giving them a living by giving them interest free loans, giving them skills so that they are able to carry on their life. And further, to protect the local ecosystem, Mukti has undertaken activities like tree plantation, encouraging people to go for renewable energy such as solar for their lighting purposes. The fifth NGO is the Environmentalist Foundation of India. Working towards wildlife conservation and habitat restoration, the foundation focuses on reviving freshwater habitats such as lakes and ponds across the country. EFI believes that most of the India's freshwater bodies are contaminated due to human activity, and their revival through scientific means is of utmost importance. EFI has revived and ecologically restored several freshwater lakes and ponds across the country since 2007. It believes in revisiting them through community based collaborative conservation efforts. The organization works in over 14 Indian states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Gujarat, J&K, that is Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka and several other states. The sixth NGO is the Jan Mitran Kalyan Samiti. It literally means, when translated, friends of the people. This organization was established in 2002 and it works towards community development, and it works hand in hand with the government and with the community to which it serves. Through their Wadi development program in association with NABARD, they have created around 900 orchards, providing livelihood and the basic need for the tribal people. The most remarkable accomplishment of this project is that the barren lands have been transformed, and today we see orchards where there was drought present in those lands. Also, minor crops are planted by the farmers in this tribal region, and hence they are able to have a better quality of living conditions with better income. This program has been supported by the NGO, and it also further helps the environment and the people, and it has been in place for over 10 years. The watershed program is another initiative by this NGO which aims at both soil and water conservation. They also work towards capacity building and training of the communities, the local people, so that they are able to carry on their own rather than depend on the NGOs for their requirement. The seventh type is the Haritika. The organization works mainly in the backward region of Bundelkhand on issues relating to the rural poor living there. Its interventions have been on restoring the natural resources and making the region, the villagers feel that the worth of the natural resources and make them self-reliant. Hartika has been working for rural electrification through environment friendly standalone solar lighting systems for the streets and for the homes. This has helped the villagers get mobilized, and they are able to disseminate information regarding renewable energy sources, sustainable development and maintenance of the water and soil conservation. They have been working with the farmers to energize the natural water resources and manage them without over exploiting the underwater, the groundwater. As water scarcity is a major problem, watershed development is another area of intervention which the NGO has taken up in this region. The eighth organization is the Dipalaya. This is a Delhi based NGO and it has taken up several programs, namely the environmental protection, eco conservation, sanitation, waste disposal and training. It also works closely with the state government in Delhi, Haryana and UP in afforestation and environmental related activities through the schools and colleges. Dipalaya was founded in 1979 to foster self-reliance and to help the underprivileged children present in that area. The organization regularly conducts community outreach programs highlighting the issue of conservation, the importance of environment and the need to protect the ecosystem and make agriculture sustainable, which are all necessary to have a better future in that region. The ninth NGO is the Marathwada Gramin Vikas Sansthan, which was established in 1996. It promotes community based development program in the field of water and soil conservation, sanitation, healthcare and agriculture. Water conservation in the villages is of primary focus since the Marathwada region of Maharashtra is prone to drought and water scarcity. The organization works with the local stakeholders in water harvesting, increasing the groundwater level, creating facilities for improved irrigation and regenerating the water bodies by creating lakes, ponds, so that the ground level of water can be maintained or improved. Soil conservation is another critical area that the organization is involved in this region. It works closely with government bodies for an integrated approach so that environmental related problems in this region can be addressed. The 10th NGO is the Babul Film Society. This is a unique social organization that spreads the awareness about the environment, the biodiversity and sustainable development using short videos, social media and traditional advocacy methods. The organization makes independent short films highlighting the need for environmental protection and promotes sustainable development. This is a very innovative idea started by the NGO where the younger generation are interested and gets interested into environmental protection through this mechanism. The organization also encourages individuals and organizations to follow in the footsteps and to create more such films. For this, it offers guidelines on ideation, concept, script development, budgeting, shoot planning, packaging and other legal formalities that goes into making green films. It also organizes several contests so that the younger people get interested into this area, and in the process they are able to propagate or create awareness among the community on the need for environmental protection. Across the country, there are around 15,000 registered not for profit or non-government organizations that are working for environmental and animal welfare. So, listing all of them will be very tedious. We have just seen a few which works very innovatively, very aggressively for protecting the environment. So, we have seen all these NGOs, both national and international, and all of them have started with a good cause. They wanted to protect the environment. However, they are not able to succeed as envisioned. That is because of the problems that they face. The problems could be lack of funds, lack of dedicated leadership, inadequate trained personnel, misuse of funds, monopolization of leadership, lack of public participation, centralization in urban areas and lack of coordination. These are a few problems. However, NGOs have to fight over these obstacles and try to excel. Environmental NGOs can play a crucial role in helping to plug the gaps by conducting research to facilitate the policy development, building institutional capacity, and facilitating independent dialogue with civil society to help people live in a more sustainable lifestyle. Now, let us see few questions and answers related to this module. Question 1. When did environmental NGOs start? Few environmental NGOs were established in the early 20th century. An uptick accompanied the expansion of international organization following World War II. Many environmental NGOs were subsequently established with the emergence of environmental awareness and environmental movement in Europe and North America, which happened across 1960s and 1970s, and we find many of the NGOs were established during this period. Question 2. A word cloud on environmental issue is depicted here. If you are starting an NGO, what are the issues or what are the 5 major issues from the cloud that you can identify? So, the cloud gives all the issues related to environmental issues. So, from these words we can identify global warming is an issue, carbon dioxide, endangered wildlife, waste management, deforestation as some of the issues that can be taken up by the NGO for protecting the environment. Is Greenpeace a NGO? Yes, Greenpeace is world's largest, richest advocacy NGO known for its confrontational tactics and its opposition to environmental damaging technologies. Greenpeace campaigns include supporting wind and solar energy, opposing the nuclear logging and the fishing industries. To summarize, in this module, we have understood about the importance of NGOs' participation for environmental protection, learnt about the environmental NGOs at the international and at the national level and their role and their importance in protecting the environment. Thank you.